get serious about building content sites and building a profitable business online? Welcome to the Niche Website Builders Podcast. We bring you the latest field-tested tips, tricks, and strategies for building a profitable online asset. We interview industry experts, share customer success stories, and reveal our own experiences working on hundreds of sites to inspire and motivate you to make something happen. Let's do this.
Welcome to the Niche Website Builders Podcast. Today we have Antti Alatalo. So Antti is, I guess, a veteran within the SEO space, mainly within the casino niche. So we cover a lot about foreign language casino SEO. We also cover a little bit on CBD, and then also his transition into crypto affiliate as well. So a lot of different things and his processes and how he likes to work in these foreign language markets. So if you work in a foreign language market, this would be perfect for you. Also, if you're interested in the casino niche, Niche Website Builders actually has an age domain called Slot Machine Basics, and you can get on the website with a content package. So if the casino niche is something that interests you, obviously it's a high paying niche, very competitive because of that. There's something there to give you a head start as well. So sit back and enjoy.
This episode is brought to you by Niche Website Builders, an agency dedicated to helping people just like you build profitable content sites. Niche Website Builders are the hands-off content site marketing agency you always wished existed. It's run by content site marketers for content site marketers, and they help both investors and individuals alike build profitable online properties. They provide a fully outsourced approach to content creation, link building, and done-for-you website builds, the same approach they use on their own six-figure portfolios. For example, their content packages come with a proprietary keyword research process, are written by in-house native English speakers, formatted using templates proven to convert, and uploaded to WordPress with affiliate links added so that all you need to do is hit the publish button. Check them out at nichewebsite.builders/show. That's nichewebsite.builders/show and fill out the form to get coupon codes for 10% more content or a 10% discount on links with your first order sent right to your inbox.
Well, welcome to the Niche Website Builders Podcast. Today we have Antti Alatalo. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, perfectly.
Oh, look at that. Well done.
One of the few.
That was first try too for anyone listening.
Yeah.
So we got connected through a mutual friend, Vic Dorfman, who was also on this podcast. It must have been a few months back now, so if anyone wants to go back and listen to that. But do you want to provide a brief introduction about yourself? And we're going to dive into some really interesting topics today, ones that we don't usually dive into on this podcast as well, which is going to be great.
Sure. So I'm from Finland originally, from a very small village from rural Lapland, and for the past almost 10 years I've been working like pretty much full time in SEO and affiliate marketing, and I've been entrepreneur for the last 7 years now in the space. So basically making off my living from affiliate marketing.
Nice. So where did you start then with your affiliate marketing? Did you start in, I know we talked before the podcast about the casino niche. Is that where you started?
Actually, no. And this is how I met Vic, because so I was this is kind of my second career. I'm almost 40 now. And when right before I turned 30, I was working as a sales and marketing rep for Red Bull in Finland. And let's just put it this way, it wasn't my cup of tea for working for a huge multinational Austrian company. So there was a lot of process and strict hierarchy. And I had a bit of money saved, and I was like, okay, screw it. I'm just going to take a year off and figure out what I really want to do. And I went into Thailand, trained Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at the local gym, met Vic over there. And one other guy who was training at the gym, he was working for an Australian SEO agency, which was based in Bangkok. And through him, I managed to get a trainee position over there. So I got the first introduction into SEO in 2013, 2012. So they basically taught me the ropes. They were very BBN heavy SEO, and that was fair enough, working very well at the time. But then, like, I started to run out of money, and the visas were getting quite complicated. So I went back to Finland, struggled 1 year over there, couldn't get a job in SEO, and then I ended up getting recruited to Malta, which is pretty much a hub for online gambling space. So
Okay.
yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So obviously you found your way in Malta and you got into the casino online gambling space. This is I don't know why this area just always interests me. Just the fact that you can make money sending people to a casino, like, and it's just almost like I guess you'll call it a black hat niche. I guess with some things that are going on, I don't know much
Mm,
about it. So it'd be awesome if you were able to maybe dive into maybe some of the differences that you see and know between maybe working in that casino space versus working in a white hat, I guess, niche site space.
yeah, sure. Like with my company, we've done like quite a few acquisitions. So we've got some Amazon affiliate sites like from the white niches. So we definitely play around a lot. And the biggest thing is that, like, I guess I'm talking mainly about like non-English speaking markets because those we've kind of found that that's the best fit for us because it just gets much more complicated when it's English language and it's already like the SERPs are very, very volatile. Like
Mm,
we managed to get some money keywords. We were ranked number one, and then just a couple of months later, we got kicked off. The next site comes in. There's the few months they got kicked off. So it's like it's a really big like roller coaster ride,
mm,
and especially like from Finland, which is a very we have like 5 million people living over there. It's insanely competitive space. It's like crazy. But the weird and or actually like maybe encouraging thing is that the big companies are not the ones who are dominating the serves. It's the small guys who've been doing this like 10 years and just like building up their portfolios. They own their links and
okay.
so it's definitely it's very link heavy industry, let's put it this way.
So it's almost like you have to, you can't get into this and be 1, 2 years down the line. Okay, I'm making really good money. It's going to take a long term plan to build multiple sites, so you have almost like your own network of casino sites to use.
Yeah, like so the way we kind of got started was that I decided to leave this job where I was working in Malta. And I was kind of doing a little bit like consulting, and I had my own Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu academy at the time and teaching there and, getting by. And I got like pretty decent uh, package from my employer because they let me go earlier. So there was like a cushion there. And I started thinking about that. Yeah, it would be good to kind of like do this casino affiliation a bit differently because at the time the sites were like pretty much exact match domains, right?
Mm,
So you have the keyword in the domain name and you just hit it with the exact match anchors and you ended up ranking. And our vision was that we want to do something that is a bit more like a brand. And we
mm,
kind of brainstormed the idea and we had money for 3 months. The first one we made like $100. Like someone somehow find our site from his like searches and deposited money and that was it. But the next one, like something just clicked, or we did like a pretty good campaign and it just clicked. We started to get like branded traffic, direct traffic, and it just
interesting.
exploded from there. So, I mean, it's not to say that it can't be done, but you just have to be like realistic with your expectations that look, this might take like 9 to 18 months before you see any traction.
Yeah. Actually, funny you mentioned the jujitsu. I'm actually wearing. You see
Mm.
there. Look at that.
Ah, cool.
How about that, eh? That's good timing. But
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
you mentioned about the branded traffic. How do you create a brand in the casino space? Because if I'm thinking brand in casino, I'm thinking the actual casino itself. Are you positioning yourself as maybe
Yeah.
like an expert, almost like gambler, or expert like teacher of certain games or something?
I mean, it was just like at the time because all the sites looked the same. It was like your standard affiliate marketing WordPress theme, like all looked exactly the same. You can't remember the domain name
Yeah.
or URL or anything like that. So we wanted to do something a little bit, something that's bit in your face, but not too much. So we took like a purple color scheme, which was never used.
Mm.
We had like this professor type of icon, and it just resonated with people very heavily. So, I mean, I don't want to say it was just luck, but there was definitely luck in a sense that I managed to meet this designer guy through my gym was like who was exceptionally talented,
Yeah.
but hated his job, and he just did this logo for us, and we were never able to use him again, even though we wanted because his work was just outstanding. So,
Oh, that's awesome. So, like, let maybe dive down into kind of the nitty-gritty details of how you got started. So, maybe start on the
mm,
keyword research level. So, what are you looking for in the casino niche there? I guess you probably have the same thing. You've got a mixture of informational and maybe buyer intent keywords that you're trying to, I don't know,
mm.
merge and kind of get the right ratio on the site or anything like that. Is there, I guess, is there some kind of heuristic you followed regarding the keyword research?
Yeah, absolutely. So especially nowadays, like let's say bit of like a more mainstream languages, if you will. So let's say like Spanish or German, which has like a larger population versus Finland. Obviously, I have like the main keyword which I have in mind, but I want to check the intent of the results. That do I actually have a chance to rank there? Then it kind of depends, like if I have Google Search Console data available from one of the existing sites on our
Mm.
network, then I can leverage that, maybe pick up some like low-hanging fruits, like quick wins from there. But I mean, it's just pretty much like like if that's not available, then it's just going through the SERPs, top 5 results, what are they ranking for, and then just trying to bundle up those. And XML sitemaps, they're a good place to spot some good content pieces from your competitors. Like if they're like frequently updated content pieces, and you never
Mm.
heard that article type of name, then it's usually like it's a pretty good finding because I only use Ahrefs. I don't use SCMrush. Nothing against SCMrush. It's just like I've gotten used to it so much. So
Yeah.
it doesn't always, Ahrefs like search volumes are not 100% accurate. So this is a bit of like a manual way, but you can definitely discover some good stuff through that way.
Gotcha. Are there any, I guess, different rules that you can play by? Because obviously you mentioned you're in foreign language SERPs. So there are different rules you
Mm,
can play by within there, or there are different things that you can do that maybe you shouldn't or can't do on English ranking
yeah,
casino sites.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely, 100%, 100%. So like one thing is like I don't want to give out all my stuff, but I'm just
Yeah.
gonna say one thing which works very well, and it's like pretty widely known at least that let's say for a Finnish site, I can pretty safely build links from English sites,
Hmm.
and that definitely is something that works well and is a bit like overlooked sometimes. So that seems to be one strategy. That you can definitely go push the envelope with the links much more harder in like non-English speaking sites compared to like English sites. So
Gotcha. Gotcha. And then I guess looking at on-page stuff on a casino site as well,
mm,
is there maybe some kind of template that you follow that you've found maybe works well on certain types of articles? Maybe I don't know if you're reviewing specific casino websites or you're looking more on the
mm.
informational side, but are there things that you kind of look to always cover on that or a template that you like to use?
Yeah, I mean, like outside of the basic stuff, like having the keyword in the title, in the URL, meta, and the like first sentence of the first paragraph, like those are kind of like the basics. What I always want to have there,
Hmm.
but outside of that, it's just I pretty much rely on what is already working, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, what the competitors are writing, can I either add something to it or can I compress the information what they are offering in a more like scannable manner, if that
Gotcha.
makes sense.
Yeah. Are you also adding maybe like going to the actual casino site, playing the games and adding screenshots, videos, and things like that?
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely like valuable content that you want to have on your page. It's like if that's possible and feasible to have that. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's cool. And then I guess within the site structure itself, how does that look? Because are you nailing down almost like a micro niche casino site where it's like, I'm just focusing on slots or just focusing on roulette or something, or are you kind of like, okay, casino
Mm.
everything, but each one has its own little subcategory on the site?
So initially we did this like authority site, if you will, that it was like about everything in the space. But the problem with that is that you're gonna like if Google hits you, then you will feel it like pretty hard.
Mm,
Like if you start to, like your rankings drop, then your revenue will drop as well. So that's pretty hard. And also you're kind of banking on like not on your own links, you're banking on like someone else's links, like bot links or like outreach links or whatever. So like I'm definitely like after this, like after going through this, we kind of like went towards like having these like very niche specific sites which are focusing on like certain subsets of topics, and then it's just easier to maintain, update, and like just like be the expert in that like small little niche inside of the niche.
gotcha. How many poster numbers would you have on one of those small niche sites then?
I mean, if we have reviews, which I, by the way, don't like at all because it's like really a big headache to keep them up to date all the time because the
Okay.
information on casinos changes all the time. But like, if we exclude the reviews, we're like between 20, 30 pages on the
Oh,
my
wow.
pages.
Okay. So
Yeah,
quite small then in general compared to,
quite small, quite small.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I guess within that, so you obviously mentioned you don't like the reviews because you have to update them often. What's your strategy then overall to bring people to the site to convert them into, I guess, casino customers?
I mean, we just don't, we will have like a top list or like, call to action section over there where you display the most critical information, which is usually the sign up bonus, deposit methods, something else if there is. So,
Yeah.
and that's usually because the customers who come from SEO, I'll tell you what, they don't stick around too long on the site. They're like in a rush to find a place where to gamble. So
Give them the information quickly.
yeah, it's not like when you're Googling like what's the best golf driver that you take your time and read through the site. It's like, okay, here we have one. I'm just gonna go
Yeah.
here now. So
I just want that one sign up bonus. And then,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So you're no longer in the casino space. Is there, I guess,
Yeah.
was there a reason that you left or exited that space and kind of moved on?
Yeah, so I still own my part of the business like right to this current date, but I mean, we were kind of like becoming the the like the processes and structures inside the company were in such a good space that I wasn't basically needed over there anymore. And it's not like a negative thing that we had like some internal beef between the founders, but it was just a fact. And I also felt a little bit like burned out that I like what I do, but it just felt like so repetitive to be in the same space. And I love this job. I want to get better, and that also means that I need to do like other niches to kind of like pick up new things from there and see what kind of works. So I left at the end of 2020, I think it was. So, and then I started dabbling around with some CPD sites. I got a bunch of domains. I set up a small network. It was kind of like a side hustle. I was doing my hobbies more and, kind of like taking some, because it is like a big thing when you leave your own business, like mentally, like to kind of like get used to the idea that, okay, this is something that you've been working and thinking about like almost every minute of every day, like for the past 5 years. And then all of a sudden, you're not like
Mm.
really involved in it anymore. So it kind of took a time, and I jumped into this new niche like maybe a little bit too fast. And it was like first 3 months, there was like periods where I was working like crazy. And then I was like, like I can't be bothered anymore. And it just went up and down, but I managed to get it work pretty decently. And this spring, I got a pretty decent offer and sold that network.
Oh, nice. And that was Are you able to share that niche for that network?
Yeah, so it was CPD,
Okay, yeah,
CPD in
yeah,
Nordics.
gotcha,
But
gotcha.
it was, and this is kind of like a good tip that if you want to make sites and make some money from them, at least for us, like being on the both sides of the aisle, that being a buyer, like buying sites, and now seller, like it's always more attractive if you have more than one site. Like
Mm.
this deal, what I made was it was actually like five live sites, two of them making money, and then I think I had like 20 or 30 like domains in the backlog targeting different countries.
Oh
So
wow.
that was kind of like how I was able to bump up the multiplier because there was like kind of it's not just you just sell one site and you can develop, but you actually have like a pretty good expansion plan already laid out for you. You just gotta like kind of take it and drive it from there.
Gotcha. Are any of those sites linked together, or they're all kind of their own separate entities?
Yeah. They heavily cross-link each other.
Really costly. And
Yeah. I'm not afraid. In like non-English language, this is the
okay,
caveat here. Like
yeah,
I'm not afraid of cross-linking at all. It just needs to make sense, the link.
yeah. Have you tried any of that in the English market?
I yeah, but very cautiously, very
Yeah.
cautiously. Like I'm a little bit hesitant in the English market to try that kind of stuff. So
By cautiously, what do you mean by that? Do you mean by only maybe one or two anchors within the text and kind of avoiding maybe footer menu, kind of those kind of links?
yeah, definitely. You don't want to have like a site-wide links, like let's say like a footer link from an external site. That's even on like non-English sites, I would definitely maybe avoid that. And like it has to be like with very soft anchors. You can so easily over optimize your anchor text profile and like blow up the whole site right away. So it's much more delicate in English speaking markets.
Gotcha. So now I think you're in the crypto niche, is it now that you've kind of transitioned
Yeah,
into?
yeah,
Is there anything
yeah.
you've learned from maybe the casino, the CPD niches that you've been able to implement over in the crypto niche? 'Cause obviously, the crypto niche is relatively, I guess, depending on how you're approaching it, is still relatively competitive. So, is there anything you kind of brought
Yeah.
over that's helped you, given you an advantage or anything?
Yeah, I think like the crypto and casino niche, they're like fairly close to each other. Like a lot of the stuff, how you kind of structure your sites and like I guess the way the Google sees as well, because they're categorized as your money or your life type of niches.
Mm,
So I think there's a much more volatility when it comes to the SERPs and updates. Like sites get punished pretty badly, but also a lot of things like quite a lot of things go in the crypto niche that wouldn't necessarily go in a CPD niche. Because the medical stuff is just that gets a little bit like
yeah.
if you don't have like a doctor writing opinions on your site, like it's they will punish you pretty quickly.
Gotcha. So, I guess within the crypto niche, how did you approach a crypto website? Because if I'm thinking now, okay, I'm going to go into crypto, but there's like
Mm.
10,000 different cryptocurrencies. You've got a million different exchanges. You've got other Web3 metaverse stuff. I guess how do you nail down what you're going to target and what's going to make you money?
Yeah, so I kind of niche down it quite a lot. So, and I want to niche it down to perhaps like the top five tokens based on the market cap. So I want to be on the safe side of things. Like I don't want to push like Luna or something like this that could be like rug pull. So
Yeah.
I would focus on like super niche, like Ethereum, like what we're doing now is focusing on like Bitcoin and Ethereum type of stuff right now. And the game plan is to kind of make them work first, like these smaller sites, and then hopefully have some link equity on those and launch like bigger and more interesting projects on top of that later down the line.
Okay, so you're taking the same approach of having a network. So one site's focused just on Bitcoin and one focused just on Ethereum.
Mm, yeah.
Okay. So then I guess how much stuff is there to cover within, say, just that currency? Because I guess you could cover how to invest, how to buy, all that kind of stuff. Is there also new stuff covered on that, or is it more, I guess, high level of how to get it, what it does, etc.?
Yeah, like this is like the plan is to not to have news because that's like unless you have like actual like brand, like you have a social media and you get some
Mm.
recurring visitors on your site, like the news just don't make sense. But I mean, it might be that we won't be able to rank without having news. So we shall see in like 6 to 9 months' time how this project kind of pans out. So, but based on my research, like our competitors are not currently publishing news. So we're kind of sticking into the evergreen content and like I guess when you're like this SEO affiliate marketing kind of thing space, like anything that doesn't have any data to back it up, like the content needs to have like some reason to exist that
Yeah.
people actually visit it, consume it. Otherwise, it's just dead weight content. And I just did recently. I don't know if you know this. It's like a Netflix for SEO. It's called Internet Marketing Gold.
Yeah. Yeah. Carl
Are you
Roof
familiar
is,
with this?
yeah, he was just on the
Yeah,
podcast a few weeks ago.
yeah. He's definitely good. But there was other Australian guy, just Robbie Richards maybe or someone. But he did this. He had a very good course about like how to audit your content using Screaming Frog over there. And he was definitely like it kind of like solidifies like my opinion that these like zero view content just doesn't serve any purpose, that it just like creates this extra fluff on your site that doesn't need to exist over there. And he was very like slashing out everything that didn't have like some kind of traffic or traction. But then you're gonna
Interesting.
need to check like analytics and GSC, Google Search Console, that you actually have something there. So
Would you keep it if maybe that piece of content was maybe important information for maybe your brand or things like that, and maybe internally links out
yeah,
to the things?
yeah, and if I put my consulting hat on, like there might be other business related reason why this content piece needs to exist. So I don't know, maybe it's like a compliance legal type of thing that just has to be there on the site. So then be it like it's not like something that will absolutely kill your success, but like in an
Hmm.
ideal SEO setting, you would only have like this content that will drive eyeballs and traffic to your site.
Yeah. So coming back to, I guess, your cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, you've got these two
Mm.
sites. Are you able to share, I guess, what you're promoting on there in terms of affiliate revenue? Is it just different exchanges within that?
Yeah, for now it's gonna be just exchanges pretty much. Like the project is 2 months old, like the whole technical platform is still being developed, so there's like very little traction now going on over there. And we've we've kind of taken a stance that we're gonna give this like 9 months. If it fails, then it fails, and we still have like pool of good sites there, which we probably will figure out something to do for it. So, and obviously it's like the whole crypto market is on fire right now. So I doubt the
Yeah.
traffic will be very high anyway if we rank on top.
Yeah, fair enough. So then what's your role within, so obviously you've got business partners in this. What's your role within that network? And it sounds like, are you writing the content or have you got writers doing that?
Yeah, so I definitely outsource the content writing, but I'm very much like on page content driven SEO guy. So I basically teach, coach, instruct, brief the writers into like I'm very specific how I want the content to be. Like I'm not afraid to give like harsh feedback or say that this needs to be fixed. And I always want to have like the possibility to have at least a couple of revisions of the article. But then on the other side, like if I and this has happened like often, like I just think with the writer, like we hit it off, that writer understands what I want, I can communicate it to them like in a good manner, and it becomes this like good relationship, and then I have no problem paying them more because they're actually ideally like I want to groom them to be like webmaster, that they independently handle everything there, they deliver like a plan for me what they want to do and I just sign it off. So that's
Yeah.
always where I want to kind of get, like that's the end goal of the whole thing.
Yeah, we touched a little bit on page in the casino chat, but I wanted
Mm,
to maybe dive a little deeper onto this one. Obviously, as you work with your writers, so you obviously mentioned you provide a lot of
mm.
feedback and you want revisions. What is it you're looking for exactly? I guess within the different sections of the page, is it just grammar stuff that you're worried about, or is it more, hey, we need to use these certain keywords, or it needs to read a certain way?
Yeah, so I don't touch like the keyword density or like how many times certain stuff like word appears there initially. It's just mainly about I don't want fluff, like words for the sake of words. Like
Yeah.
if I say something needs to be in the range of 1400 to 2000 words, and there's like 400 words of like just repeating the same thing all over again. So that's like absolute no, like get to the point like as soon as possible, use like bullet points, like try to like provide the information in the least possible words as possible. So, and obviously like finding sources for like no opinions, just stick to the facts, like back your facts with external link, like by linking to the sources where you got these facts. So that's kind of basically like obviously grammar is important as well, but like
Yeah.
good grammar doesn't. There's a lot of writers who have good grammar, but they just don't know how to write good SEO content.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough as well. And I guess within
Mm,
the sites as well, what's you obviously mentioned 9 months is kind of your cutoff point to see whether it's successful or not. I
mm.
guess what's the plan at 9 months to have on the site? Is there a certain number of articles, number of links, certain amount of traffic, things like that? Are there any KPIs that you're looking at?
Yeah, like like I think it's just tied to the revenue because the traffic in itself doesn't really mean anything if it doesn't convert.
Yeah.
And even if we like, this is a new niche. Like I have no idea if these exchanges will actually be able to convert the customers. So it's just like there's so many variables right now. Like I there just needs to be money coming in so it kind of justifies this whole project to exist. Whether or not we break even or not, like that's kind of irrelevant, but we need to see something at that point to kind of see that there's like a business case to keep this thing going.
Yeah. Because how many articles are you looking to post, I guess, per week or month?
So I think right now we have ordered roughly 50 pages for split between two sites.
Yeah. Okay. And this is
So
foreign language
fairly
still?
small amount of content. Yeah, this is foreign language. This is
Okay.
foreign language.
So yeah, I didn't realize you can almost get away with such small, I guess, small micro niche sites, I guess, within that foreign language market. Obviously, if you do that in the English market, you're not going to get anywhere.
Mm, yeah, I mean, the problem is that we only have third-party data available right now, so we shall see once we get some GSC data for us that like this is just a start. Like I'm sure we need to add like 30% more content on each site to kind of like cover all the topics related to the main topic. So we shall see. We shall see.
Do you speak the languages that the niches you're in, or do you have people on your team that do?
Yes, I do speak this language. It's actually Finnish market we're doing right now, but I have done like the initial SEO kickoffs for languages that I don't speak.
Okay, now I want to dive in. How do you do that? Because I think, as most people being in the English market, and they go, "Holy shit!" There's like no competition with them, whatever these other
Mm,
foreign markets are. I want to get into that, but they go, okay, well, I can't speak the language, so if I go hire a writer in that language, I don't know what I'm getting. So I guess, and then
yeah.
how do you do the keyword research when you don't know the language as well? So do you want to maybe dive into some of the overarching factors there? How you did the SEO and keyword research for a foreign language market that you don't speak that language, and then how do you hire writers to make sure they're writing good content in that language too?
Yeah, so I kind of want to like elaborate a little bit more that like or like that I do the kickoff. So it means that like this is kind of like my general SEO strategy. That I just want to I like to throw spaghetti in the wall a lot and see what kind of sticks.
Yeah.
You know, if that makes sense. That because like the most valuable asset for me always in these sites is the data, like the search console data. Like that's like such a you have like such a so much stuff over there that you can utilize. And I just want to kind of like see the real search volume. So it doesn't really, at this point, like when I'm doing like a soft launch for a new site and for a language that I don't really speak, I just get like some content. I use do you know DeepL? It's like a translator
No.
software you can get on desktop. Yeah, you should check
Hmm.
it out. It works better than Google Translate,
Okay.
let's put it this way.
What was that called again?
So Deep L, let me just,
Deep
yeah,
L. Okay.
I'll hit you up. Yeah. So, I mean, if you do the basic on-page stuff and you know the keyword in the URL, in the title, you have like native writer writing some kind of a content, then you will at least get the GSC data out of there, and you see that hey, there is actually like a pretty big demand for this type of content. That now I need to actually start like sourcing a proper writer who can like kind of nail this down. And even then, this is like a second phase. Like you probably get a little bit closer to the top, but then you need to get someone who's like a native for it. So it's kind of like I don't want to hire a person right away to do it and initially invest a lot. It's just kind of like gradually investing more and more and more once you see some traction there.
Okay. And then you're looking at, I guess, within foreign language markets, you're looking at higher pay niches, kind of like casino and crypto, because I guess
Mm.
white hat or more evergreen niches, maybe something like gardening or whatever. I guess they don't pay as well if you're using display ads compared to something like crypto exchanges and things,
Mm.
correct?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like over here in Europe, like it's if you want to do something like this, it's pretty much Amazon affiliation and that's it. So, you know, the payouts are not very good. We don't have that many networks available here that could offer. But I mean, like something that I've been really thinking, but I just don't have time to do it, would be like solar panel niche. Like there's just no like affiliate deals available, but if you could just pick up the phone and get some direct deals with this kind of stuff. So I'm not opposed to those, but you know,
Hmm. Almost like solar panel lead gen.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Because those, and it can be anything like, you know, car towing, like whatever. But if you can kind of sell those leads, there are pretty high value leads in those niches. So it just requires a bit more legwork to get those deals up.
How would you, I guess, how would you value your leads in terms of, I guess, monetary value per lead?
I mean, then you kind of would have to do a little bit of a market research, like what's the margin for the installer or seller for the uh, for selling a solar panel package, and what's the, let's say, like a cost per click prices if they do Google ads, and then some like
Mm.
use those numbers to kind of like come up something that you could charge for it,
Gotcha. So I was costing them
because it's a
like,
pretty good deal for.
no,
Yeah,
okay.
because it's a pretty good deal for them as well. Like if they only pay for a successful lead, but then how do you gonna measure it and make sure that they don't screw you over is a whole other thing. So,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I actually wanted to come back to the Google Search Console stuff. 'Cause obviously, you sound like
mm.
you're an avid user of Google Search Console as part of your research.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So do you want to
Yeah,
dive
yeah.
into some of your processes? How are you finding, I guess, the keywords that you're looking, I guess the keywords that are doing well on your site, keywords that you can maybe use on other sites, things like that. Are there special, I guess, formulas you're using in there to find them, or are you just kind of clicking a few different buttons?
Yeah, I mean, it also kind of gives you a little bit like a blueprint on the topics you should cover. Like if it's an existing site and I want to improve the page, right?
Mhm.
So I would definitely check the URL from the Search Console and see that if there's like terms that kind of make sense for that content piece that should maybe be like their own paragraph there that I've completely missed out, because that also adds the like value for the actual SEO value for the article. But then you can also spot some stuff that okay, you're getting impressions for keyword X, but it's actually not related to this topic at all on this page. So I'm gonna grab that keyword, do a search on Google and see like what kind of results it's returning there. That is it actually similar type of page what I already have, or does it actually deserve its own
Mm,
article also? Is it a parent topic or subtopic?
gotcha. And then you're just going through that, and if it's relevant to the article that you've got there, you're kind of finding a
Mm.
way to add that exact match, I guess, search term or keyword within the article.
Yeah, or like cover that topic in the article. If
Okay.
it's like sometimes they're just like, different variations of your primary keyword, and those will come kind of naturally, and you may need to tweak the keywords a little bit inside the article, but like you can actually find some subtopics that you should definitely maybe cover in your that article.
How often are you going back into Google Search Console then and looking to update articles? Do you have a time frame that, okay, after 6 months I need to keep updating, or are you kind of just going by feel?
Well, okay, so right now in this crypto project, we're so new, so there's no really updating, which is
Yeah.
like getting the new stuff in. In CPD, I would definitely, it just kind of depends like how many sites you're juggling and what's kind of like the priority at the moment. So
Mhm.
if you see that one site is going kind of down, then you might need to jump in. So it's also about, it comes down to like measuring the performance of those sites, right? That like, okay, how are these sites, like how's the last quarter been for these three sites? Like, okay, one is going up, one is stable, one is declining. Maybe I need to look into the declining one. And then I work in quarterly, like
Okay.
scheduled when it comes to improving sites.
Do you ever go and update an article that's already ranking number one for your main keyword, even if you see other keywords within that that you could still optimize for?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's the slippery slope. That's the hardest one. Like yeah, that's the hardest part is to like keep the number one position. Like because you don't have anyone else to kind of benchmark, and like there's like 100,000 other sites who want to take your place. So I definitely want to still like look at the competitors, and if they're like frequently updating, tweaking, maybe adding something there, whether there's like a tech like schema or some other technical measures like make it more media rich or something like that. So you definitely want to keep an eye on it, but
Yeah.
cautiously, very, very cautiously doing changes there.
Yeah. Because I say that because take, for example, let's say golf, and say you have maybe like
Mm,
strength training for golf, and but maybe you also rank somewhere on the first page for weight training for golf, and maybe golf strength training.
mm,
So they're all the same topic, but maybe you rank number one for strength training for golf, but you rank
mm,
a lot further down for weight training for golf or golf strength training, and you can't. Would
mm.
there be a way you would go in and look to maybe optimize that page, or would you be like, no, I'm going to leave it because I don't want to lose the number one spot on that main keyword?
Oh, you mean like the page that is ranking number one? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Or
so say that
yeah.
that page is ranking number one, so strength training for golf,
Mm,
but it also ranks on the first page, but not number one for like weight training for golf and golf strength training. So they're all the same topic on the same page, but
mm.
the main keyword is one that ranks number one, but you want to get more traffic from the other keywords too. Would you then still go in and try and make those
Yeah,
updates?
yeah, yeah. You could definitely look if you could beef up or trim down the sections that are not ranking so high. So mm, it's a tricky question. It's a tricky
Yeah,
question. It really depends. Like, and it also depends. Like, are you actually like driving some money out of that
yeah,
traffic as well? So if it's like you get like 50% of your revenue from that, I would probably not touch it at all. So
gotcha.
you also have to think about it from like business side of things. Like, do I want to really whittle this when I can kind of lose some money from the bottom line as well?
Yeah, no, that's actually good things to think about too for anyone who's looking to do that as
Mm,
well. But I want to touch on, before we finish, I want to touch on also on your off-page
mm.
strategies. Obviously, you mentioned about how English links work well in the foreign market, but is there anything you look for in particular when you're looking at links? Are you doing your own outreach? Are you outsourcing it? Are you looking at authority, I guess, versus relevance, or you kind of want both together? Do you have any kind of rules on that?
Yeah, I mean, like ideally, I would get a link that no one else has or has access to
Mm.
that link. And usually those are the maybe your sites that you own, or it's through a relationship, PR, something like that. But it's not basically your competitor can go there and put $500 on the table, and I want one of those as well.
Yeah.
Second thing, I definitely want that the site has real traffic. and that's the only way to check it is pretty much with Ahrefs right now. And but it gives you like some sort of an estimate what the traffic is.
Yeah.
And third, like definitely authority. There needs to be some, decent keyword position, some natural link profiles from good sources. So those are like the ideal links.
Gotcha. Are there any telltale signs that you find in Ahrefs that shows maybe a site is fudging their domain authority and their traffic?
Yeah, you can definitely game those numbers, at least the domain authority. It's like pretty pretty easy to kind of game around it, or not easy, but like it can be like game around. But I mean, if you check the anchor text profile, it's pretty easy to see that if there's something funny going on there, some weird anchors that don't make any sense. Maybe there's some sketchy domain-wide redirects done, but
Hmm.
yeah, like that's pretty much if you quickly want to check the anchor text profile tells a lot. And also if it's like heavily outlinking the site and you see a
Hmm.
lot of your competitors or porn sites, like that's a big like no or red flag for me that I don't want to have link for my site from a site that links to adult sites. So
Gotcha. Yeah, and another one I guess I often come across as well is they'll fudge their traffic data because they'll rank for like Disney Plus login, which has like a million
yeah,
searches, but
yeah, exactly.
they'll be on like page 5, and so it just gives them like ten
Yeah,
thousand traffic,
yeah,
stuff like that. Like yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
relatively easy
yeah,
to spot
exactly.
when you go
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
I guess within the off page stuff, then in terms of pages you're linking to, now a lot of people
Mm,
won't, I guess we'll say, not to link to your money pages in case maybe that link you bought or acquired or however you got it, maybe their page turns toxic or their website, or they sell their website and their
mm,
person repurposes it, and then you've got this bad link coming to your money pages. And instead,
mm.
they'd rather link to their informational pages and then internally link out to their money page stuff. Do you do something similar to that? And then if you do that or don't do that, in terms of anchor text, are you looking at um, exact matching your anchors to your pages as well, or do you have another kind of theory or way you go about that?
Yeah, yeah. So pretty much the same answer as with the content. So I just reverse engineer my competitors' like link profiles, what kind of anchor text profile they have, what's the ratio between like what's the referring domain ratio between the target page and the home page? Because then you can kind of like build some sort of like a numeric like a number
Yeah,
around like what kind of links to anchor text and this sort of jazz. So I think that's kind of like a safe way, if I guess, going forward, because then it's like based on something that is already working. You work out an average between 3 or 5 or 10, whatever you feel is the best for the in that niche, and then just take it from there.
gotcha. And then in terms of anchor text, do you have, I guess, a rule that you follow there in terms of exact match and things like that, or again, are you going off maybe what your competitors are doing?
Well, I'm very big on the exact match domains, so like I've had like a couple of really really good ones. So if I can get, and this is again like non-English market, it's just you just get much
Yeah,
more forgiven over there. So yeah, you can be like very very aggressive with the anchor text if you are trying to rank with your home page and you have like keyword domain name. So you can definitely do a lot of stuff with that. So but you have to be careful, like within reason again, like natural is better. Search console, you like partial match keywords are work great as well. You can pick up like a lot of anchor text ideas from the search console pool as well, like keywords that you're also ranking for. So
nice.
yeah.
I'm gonna go through my Google Search Console after this for sure then, because you've mentioned
Yeah,
it like
yeah.
10 times,
Like,
and I'm
like,
like,
like I should have like a fanboy shirt for Google Search Console, but I really, I'm kind of surprised like how little it's been discussed, and in
mm,
general, like people are just so fanatic about Ahrefs when you have like this gold gold mine full of like data that you actually own yourself, and no one else necessarily has access to the similar kind of stuff. So I think it's just very overlooked aspect of the SEO.
Yeah, I think I need to go into mine and see. Are you just looking at maybe what keywords or searches or pages have really high impressions but maybe lower clicks?
Yeah, like average position as well. And is it actually like a keyword that you have chance to rank? Like, is it the right keyword? Maybe you need to target something else. And, it just gives you like a lot of direction which way you should go about it.
Okay, no, perfect. I'm definitely going to do that. Well, I think if I asked you everything I wanted to on this podcast, is there anything you wanted to add to the chat? And if not, maybe, is there a way people can follow you online and what you're doing?
Yeah, so I'm like a silent observer on,
Yeah, I
social
noticed that.
media.
I was trying to find anything
Yeah,
about you. I was like, man, you just have a website.
yeah. So obviously I have my own website. I don't know, I guess it's just because I do so much posting on the affiliate sites, you just kind of get a little bit burned, and like posting on social media just becomes like a burden that you don't want to do it anymore. So yeah, that's changed. But yeah, my website, my first name, last name.com, you can find all the social links from there. Hit me up with the questions, and content SEO is the way to go. That's my tagline.
Oh, nice.
That's how you
Perfect.
get the best results.
Perfect. No, thank you for coming on, Antti. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you're listening. Until the next episode, goodbye.